The heroes for us growing up, so many of us, you know, especially coming out of and being born out of the civil rights movement, the heroes of that movement included the lawyers. It was Thurgood Marshall and Charles Hamilton Houston and Constance Baker Motley, right? It was these individuals who understood the skill of the profession of law and its ability to translate the passion from the streets to the courtrooms of our country, and to do the work that had to be done and still needs to be done, of reminding folks of that promise we articulated in 1776, that we are all and should be treated as equals. So at a young age, I decided I wanted to be a lawyer. Went to Howard, went to law school in California, came out of law school, and I made my decision. And my family gathered around, okay, Kamala, what are you gonna do in your fight for justice? And I was all happy, and I said, well, I've decided to be a prosecutor. Well, you know, my family looked at me like I was crazy. And, you know, with some of they were like, oh, well, that's a curious decision. And with some of them, I had to defend the decision like one would a thesis. Because growing up, you know, we didn't have to learn, we didn't read about it in a textbook. It was not an intellectual discussion. We knew how the criminal justice system of America has treated our community, and in particular has disproportionately impacted the Black community. And when I made the decision to become a prosecutor, it was therefore a very conscious decision. I purposely made the decision because my point was, look, I mean, my sister, for example, went on to run the ACLU, right? This is where we were supposed to go. And I said, there has to be a role for us in the inside of the room where the decisions are being made. And so that's the role, that's the track that I decided to get on, to do what we could to reform the system. And as a result of that, being there allowed me, when I was elected district attorney of San Francisco in 2003, as the first Black woman ever elected DA of any county in California, it allowed me to create a reentry initiative focused on young men, adult men, who had been arrested for drug sales, and to create a program for them, getting them jobs and counseling and parenting support. And when they graduated for the program, I dismissed the charge. And let me tell you something. When I created that program back in 2004, people looked at me and said, what are you doing? We want our prosecutors to be tough on crime. Why are you letting people out when you should be locking them up? And I said, no, first of all, I'm elected and I don't have to ask your permission. Ooh. Ooh. Second, if we're going to understand the way the system needs to work, we have to understand that on criminal justice policy, we have been offered a false choice, which suggests you're either soft on crime or tough on crime, instead of asking, are we smart on crime? And by that, meaning if the goal is to achieve public safety, what is the smartest way to do that? And what the public health model tells us is really clear. You want to deal with an epidemic, health or crime? Smartest, most effective, and cheapest way to deal with it is prevention first. And so that's why I chose to do what I did. But Star, to your point, and you and I have talked about this, let me also say this. I will never apologize for also feeling very strongly if a child is molested, if a woman is raped, if one human being kills another human being, there needs to be serious consequence and accountability. And I'm not going to apologize for that. And so that's the job that I decided to take on.